Hello, Wonderhussy here, back in fabulous Las Vegas, standing on the roof of the parking garage at the Oyo Hotel, formerly known as the Hooters Hotel, and before that, it was known as the San Remo. Anyone watching this video old enough to remember the San Remo? Don't tell anyone, but I am. Anyway, here in Vegas, some of these old pigs just keep getting fresh coats of lipstick, if you know what I mean. But some pigs are so old and so ugly that no amount of lipstick will fix them up. And when that's the case, well, what do? They blow them up. And as you might be able to tell from all the construction noise behind me, well, they're getting ready to do just that to the legendary Tropicana. That's right, the Tropicana, one of the most iconic hotels in all of Las Vegas. So iconic that there's even a major street named after it. Well, they're blowing it up to build a baseball stadium. And not just any stadium, a fixed roof, 33,000 seat, $1.5 billion stadium with an adjacent resort. Anyway, I came up here to the roof of the parking garage at the Oyo Hotel because it offers an excellent vantage point of the demolition site. Look at this. I think this is really interesting. So I'm kind of late to the party. I'm filming this on September 30th, and the big Implosion event is scheduled for just over a week from today. Okay, they're imploding this thing overnight. Well, they're doing it at 2:30 a.m. on October 9th. So it's either late night on the 8th or early morning on the 9th. Either way you look at it, it's the wee hours when everything that stays in Vegas happens. You know, it's like my grandma used to say, anywhere else in the world, nothing is open at 2:30 a.m. except hospitals and legs. But if you've ever been to Vegas, well, you know that plenty is open at 2:30 a.m. And so that's not even a ridiculously late hour to have an Implosion extravaganza. Okay, and when I say extravaganza, it's gonna be a big show. I think I read there's gonna be a 500 drone show in the sky, and then there's gonna be fireworks, and there's probably gonna be music, and you know, I wouldn't even be surprised if they played the national anthem. But what do I know? I've never actually been to a big Vegas Implosion. That's right, even though I lived here for 21 years, I never really went down to watch, or I guess I wasn't here for any of the big, iconic hotel implosions. Well, I guess I was here for the Stardust, when they imploded the Stardust. I went to watch that, but it wasn't much fun because I remember I just got in a big fight with my boyfriend. Although, now that I think about it, I guess it makes sense that I would have gotten in a big fight with my boyfriend because these hotel implosions are kind of weirdly emotional events. You know, like maybe your boyfriend proposed to you at this hotel, or maybe you got married at this hotel, or maybe you conceived a baby at this hotel, which I'm sure all of those happened to a lot of people at the Tropicana because it was open from like 1957 until April 2024. So what is that? Okay, I'm not very good at math. 67 years. This hotel was open for 67 years. And like I said, it was iconic. It was home to one of the first topless revues in Las Vegas, the Folies Bergere. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. It was a French show back in the 50s before there were strip clubs on every other street corner here. It was a big deal to go see one of those production shows with showgirls and feathers and bare breastises. Well, that was right here at the Tropicana. You know, 67 years worth of history is being scraped from the bottom of the Vegas Strip right now by some dude in a bulldozer. Well, to be fair, like I said, I'm kind of late to the party, so it looks like all the really cool old stuff has already been scraped up, and all that's left are these two hotel towers that were built in 1979 and 1986. And I don't know which one's which, but that's all they're imploding for this grand event. You know, all the good stuff has already been scraped and hauled away. Look at these massive piles of trash. That's the rubble of $1 billion broken dreams. Sayonara, you old bag. Just kidding, even though I don't have any sentimental attachments to this hotel, I like all that crusty old stuff in Vegas. So for me, it is kind of sad to see another one of the great old hotels go down. But that being said, I am weirdly looking forward to the Implosion. So much so that I'm actually going to drive all the way out here to watch it. That's right, I live an hour and a half away, way out in the desert on the edge of Death Valley. But I'm going to drive all the way into town in the middle of the night to watch this thing go down. But don't worry, I have a plan. I got a room at the Nirvana Hotel. What? You've never heard of the Nirvana? It's not right up there in your consciousness with the Bellagio and the MGM Grand? Well, I wouldn't blame you if that's the case. I'd never heard of it either. Okay, the guy at the front desk said they're the last of the Mohicans. This is the last little motel on Las Vegas Boulevard. Okay, if you went to Vegas back in the day, you might remember that this part of Las Vegas Boulevard was lined in funky old vintage motels, including the iconic Glass Pool Inn, which was a motel with a swimming pool out front that had little round portholes in it so you could watch people swimming around. Unfortunately, they imploded that, probably like 20 years ago, and they've either imploded or bulldozed all the little motels on Las Vegas Boulevard, except apparently this one. So I booked a room here for the night so that I'd have a place to park and a place to catch some sleep after the implosion. Remember, they're not imploding the Tropicana until 2:30 in the morning, so I figured by the time all that's done, it's gonna be like 3, 4 o'clock, and I'm not gonna wanna drive all the way back out to Death Valley, so I figured I'd get a room. But wouldn't you know it, all these big, fancy mega resorts, or at least all the big, fancy mega resorts with a good view of the Tropicana, jacked their rates up to like $700-800 a night. I'm not kidding. If you wanted a room at the Mandalay Bay or the MGM or the New York that had a window facing the Tropicana implosion site, well, you had to be prepared to shell out some major coin. And I'm broke. I'm on a budget. And that's why I'm here at the Nirvana. I think it was only about $100 a night, which isn't bad considering its location right here in the middle of the Strip. Now, unfortunately, my room isn't quite ready yet, so I can't check in, but I figured I'd walk around the grounds and kind of suss things out in preparation for the night's events. Okay, like I said, I'm broke. I couldn't afford a room on the 20th or 30th floor with an amazing view. Unfortunately, well, this motel, the wing I'm staying in, is only 1 story. There is a 2-story wing over here. Wonder what the rates are up top. They might be getting $125. Woo! Actually, I talked to the guy at the check-in desk and I asked him, like, why didn't you guys jack your rates up? You're right in the middle of all the action. And he said, we don't gouge. Uh-oh, there he is right there. He probably heard me impersonating his accent. Whoopsie. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of impressive that somebody in this godless city actually has ethics. How about that? And I do think it's kind of cool that they have these signs on every door asking you to remove your shoes, you know, to keep the carpets clean. If you think about it, in other countries, it's common practice to take your shoes off when you go into someone's house. Here in America, we like to wear our shoes everywhere, and, well, when you consider the puddles of piss, puke, and melted daiquiri I will undoubtedly be walking through tonight, I think it's pretty smart of them to at least ask people to take their shoes off. Even if this is basically an old crack motel that they bought and renovated, and they looks like they did a really nice job renovating it. I mean, there's flowers and little decorations everywhere, and then there's this really cool little garden out back. I guess it's sort of meant to be like a meditation garden. In keeping with the Nirvana theme, I'm pretty sure this place isn't named after the band. Very on brand. Okay, so I guess this meditation garden is probably where the swimming pool used to be. I guess they just filled in the swimming pool with concrete. paved over it and slapped down some lava rock because it's a lot easier to maintain than maintaining a swimming pool. But more importantly, for my purposes, this meditation garden happens to have an excellent view of the Tropicana. Okay, unfortunately, there's these two giant pillars in the way. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but there's these two giant concrete pillars just randomly standing in the middle of this dirt lot. Well, believe it or not, those are actually remnants of another Ferris wheel. Okay, you know how there's the big observation wheel in Vegas back behind the Flamingo? I don't think you can see it from this angle. Well, anyway, some rival Ferris wheel developer, I guess back in the 2010, around then, wanted to build another Ferris wheel down here. But I guess he ran out of money, and then the other people finished their Ferris wheel first, and so this guy figured, what's the point anymore? And well, now there's just these two random pillars in the middle of this vacant lot. Anyway, none of that really makes any difference to me. I'm here for one thing and one thing only, and that's to see the Tropicana implosion. And the city of Las Vegas is not making it easy for people to see this dang thing, okay? Back in the day when they had these implosions, it was a party, you know? They'd have fireworks and everybody would be out on the street drinking and woo, hooting and hollering. Well, ever since I'm guessing this is because of the October 1st shooting. Remember that shooting where the guy was up in the window there at Mandalay Bay and he shot and killed something like 58, 60 people in the lot next to that dirt lot right over there? Well, maybe because they're afraid something like that might happen, they have all the streets closed off tonight. That's right, you can't even come stand down on the strip and watch the dang Tropicana go up because all the streets in the immediate area are closed off. Now, I was lucky enough to have the foresight to get my hotel room here. Motel room, no-tell room. Wow, for once in my life, I actually did something right. Yay! But yeah, realistically, this right here is the prime viewing area, and all this is gonna be closed off. Oh, look at that. There's like the news or somebody doing an interview about the implosion. I think those guys are camped out so that they have a good spot to watch the thing. Man, it is hot. Even though it's October, summer is lingering, and it's probably in the upper 90s. I definitely don't envy those dudes sitting in their camp chairs all day. I mean, they've got another 12 hours to go. More than. Oh, can't walk down the sidewalk anymore. They already have it closed off for the implosion, but wow, look at that. This is a great view of the stripped tower, one of the stripped towers, and a sign for the going, gone, Demolition Inc. Oh, look at this. They have the gates open. It says, danger construction area, do not enter. But it doesn't say we can't walk right up to the threshold. Oh my gosh, look how cool this is. Oh man, I sure would like to get in there and, well, I don't know what. There's nothing to do in there anymore. All the cool stuff is gone. All the slot machines are gone. All the bars are gone. And I certainly wouldn't want to be stuck in there after 2:15. Oh, look at this. I guess they're getting ready for the implosion tonight, and it looks like they covered one side of the Oyo parking garage with plastic tarping to keep the dust out. Okay, that's another thing to keep in mind. When these towers go down, it's gonna be kind of like the Twin Towers. You know, the air is gonna be full of unspeakable chemicals, drywall, asbestos, who knows what. So I'm gonna have to bring a mask. Wow, okay, they haven't closed off the roof of the parking garage yet. Oh wow, I just noticed something. I think they're actually sifting through all that rubble from the, I guess, rest of the grounds, and they're turning it into gravel. Look at that. Waste not, want not. That gravel's gonna cost a pretty penny at some garden center next week. Okay, well, yeah, unfortunately, this would be the spot to watch the implosion, and well, maybe I'll try to sneak up here later tonight, but if that doesn't work, I still have my plan B, and that is to watch the whole shebang from the meditation garden at the Nirvana Hotel, which is just behind those Ferris wheel pillars. Okay, it's after midnight, and you know what that means. It's time to leave my unexpectedly cozy hotel room and go out onto the strip. Okay, I'm not kidding. For $100, right across the street from Mandalay Bay, this room is totally not bad. You'd never know. It used to be a crack motel. And I did obey the sign on the door and take my shoes off, even though it goes against every fiber of my being to walk barefoot on a motel room carpet. Hopefully everyone else who stayed in this room also took off their shoes. Anyway, all joking aside, it's a really nice room for $100 considering where it is. I mean, yeah, you can tell it used to be kind of a janky place, but they did a really nice job fixing it up. There's some nice accents. I even got a bathrobe and a Bible, which is pretty much all you can ask for from a Vegas hotel where you don't have to walk 5 miles from the parking garage through a casino to get to your room. Okay, I've got a selection of masks here so that I don't have to breathe in the debris created by this implosion. Okay, I did bring an actual respirator with cartridges for it. Luke, I am your father. Problem is, this thing has been hanging in our work shed in Death Valley for the last 3 years, and it's full of desert dust. So wearing that thing would probably just be worse than wearing nothing at all. Okay, I did bring in N95, but we all know how unpleasant those are to wear. So I'm gonna go with my tried and tested RZ mask from back in the early days of the coronavirus pandemic. It's got a particulate filter on the inside. I think it'll be okay. Okay, it's time to go out into the night. Okay, there's a bunch of people sitting out here in the meditation garden getting ready for the show, and it is a pretty good view, but I still want to walk a little bit closer and just see if I can even get a better view. And also, I feel like I need to get a drink. If I'm going to be hanging out for a few hours in Vegas, I don't want to do it sober. Oh man, look at that. Can't go any farther. This is it. So actually, I have a better view back at the Nirvana. I guess I'll head back there, but oh man, first I gotta find a drink. And I don't feel like going all the way into that casino and paying $20. Man, $3.50. Why would anyone pay casino prices? Oh yeah. Okay, the guy who runs the motel said I could go up here to the second floor of this other building, and supposedly it'll be a great view. And wow, he wasn't kidding. Oh, look at that, there's even a deck chair. This is too easy. All right, here we go. Finally! Oh my god, how cool is that? There's a bunch of drones in the middle making a giant Tropicana poker chip. That's pretty friggin' cool. Okay, typically I'm not much for fireworks or drone shows or any kind of over-the-top bread and circuses meant to distract us peasants from the fact that this new baseball stadium will be at least partially paid for by public funds. But I will say that the show was pretty impressive. I can hardly fly my own drone in a straight line, so it was pretty amazing to watch the 555 programmed drones spell out the Tropicana logo, then reconfigure midair to spell it backwards too, so that people watching from overpriced hotel rooms on both sides could read it. Then the drones reconfigured again to spell out the logo for Bally's, which I guess is the gaming company planning to build the new resort connected to the stadium, and then into the shape of the logo for the baseball team formerly known as the Oakland A's, which Vegas apparently lured away from the Bay Area with the promise of a shiny new stadium and at least 75% fewer carjackings. And then the drones became a giant baseball rolling through the sky, followed by the iconic "Welcome to Las Vegas" sign, before finally settling into the shape of a giant old-fashioned dynamite detonator, with numbers counting down to the implosion. And then the Tropicana name lit up the strip one last time as the ungodly rumble of more than 2,000 pounds of explosives detonating echoed through the night. First to fall was the Paradise Tower, built back in '79 when they still used steel, so it only took 490 pounds of explosives. But the Club Tower, built in 1986, was made of reinforced concrete, so it took 1,700 pounds of explosives to send it crumbling back into the radiation and corruption-soaked desert whence it came. As the drones twinkled faintly through the billowing clouds of broken dreams before reconfiguring for one last show of corporate solidarity. Bally's and the A's. Apparently, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. What a night. Man, I am not used to staying up that late. Although as wore out as I am, imagine how the Tropicana feels. Okay, unfortunately, they closed all the gates around it, but we just ought to be able to peek through. Look at that. That's the rubble of those towers. Oh my gosh, it almost feels like I'm at ground zero from 9/11. Look at that. That's all that remains of the Tropicana's once mighty empire. Okay, but before I leave Las Vegas, I think we should go back up to the roof of the Oyo parking garage one more time to survey the wreckage. Ugh, it's interesting though, the sidewalks and the landscaping in this part of Vegas are covered in this fine white dust. That's why they had that vinyl sheeting up on the Oyo garage. Okay, wow, this view really says it all. Look at that. A pile of broken dreams smoldering in front of a fairy tale castle. Just don't get more Vegas than that. Anyway, it looks like it's business as usual here at the former Tropicana site. Looks like they're still sifting through the original rubble, and they haven't even touched the new piles. It's interesting because I figured the ants would be crawling all over the corpse, already scavenging anything of use. Seriously, I mean, isn't the rebar alone worth money? But I'm sure if I come back here 10 days from now, there's already going to be a shiny new baseball stadium and adjacent resort, and the Tropicana will be like it never even happened. Well, you know what they say. What happens here stays here. It just doesn't stay forever.